This is you. Brand new every day. So much possibility you can create. But as soon as thinking comes in, it ruins your day. And I explain you how. Thoughts are energetic raw material. Via thought, you can create anything into your life. It sounds easy, but I'll explain you as day pass how we indulge in negative thinking, automatic thinking, and how our emotion arises and how we can identify and stop that and consciously create a thought which we want in our life that generate positive emotion. It comes with the practice. You open your eyes, you have a thought in your mind pop up, the problem associating with people, object, place, thing, pets, or animal. You analyzing that, you doing prediction, right? As you do that, your body is generating an emotion based on our thought. Negative thought could be fear, worry, disempowering. As day pass, again thought pop up about your job. You feel worry. You feel stress. What if I lose my job? How I'm gonna pay the bill? How will I get a new job? So you just got two thoughts and you're thinking on that thought. That just completely ruin your day. As the day pass, you get up from your bed. You already have two thoughts which you were thinking on that thought. You're already in a negative vibration. You wake up from your bed, you grab your cell phone, you're watching post on social media, Twitter, LinkedIn, Snapchat, TikTok, and you just forget about your past. You forget about that thought, but your body is still vibrating at a negative emotion, right? You get up into the washroom, right? Again, you're thinking what you're going to wear, what you're going to eat. Again, you come back from your bath. You come back from bath. Again, you're thinking about the traffic. You're thinking about your boss. You're thinking about the post which you saw on the social media that connected to the again some of your friend who had the bad experience. Again, you're thinking negative emotion. What if this thing happened to me? You drive to work. On the way, you have a traffic. Okay. It's 60 seconds. You're still on the traffic. There are so many cars. You're above you. Oh, sorry. 60-second passes. Right. You're reacting to the person who's driving above you. Right. They're honking. You shouting in your mind. Because you are in negative emotions, you are reacting, you are complaining, reacting. You get inside the office, right? Your coworker greet you. That time you're still negative emotion because you had a bad experience at traffic. You were thinking about your friend while you're watching social media. Here you're thinking about your problems, right? Your job. You're already in negative emotion. Half your day passed by in negative energy. Now, your coworker greets you, and then you have thought in your mind, right? Should I respond or should I react? You said, okay, yeah, and just you pass by. Okay. Your This is a thought you had, and then this is an emotion you felt already in the body, and this is subconscious. If you are in negative energy, you either react, you complain, you blame, you criticize, you judge, you say bad words, you make fun. This is action automatically produced from your side. Okay. This scenario completed. Now you meeting your boss. Your boss appreciating you for the work which you have done, right? You forget all your problems, right? Suddenly you start feeling good. Why? You start feeling good, right? You felt good. Suddenly you get an email. You get an SMS. You get a call. You got an email that your insurance is due. You start worrying about the money. You got an SMS that you need to pay your bills. You got a call, right, where your friend is complaining you that why you haven't met him for a long time, right? So you were feeling good after you get appreciation from your boss. Again, you getting negative energy, and everything is coming from inside, not outside, right? Thoughts inside, you reacted, you were thinking. This is done, this event over. Now you are on the break. Okay, right? You're having a cup of a coffee or a tea outside. Suddenly you saw a person, right, smoking, right? And that smoking event had a bad impact on you in the past because you lost one of your friend by smoking, right? Again you start thinking negative, right? You're reacting to the situation. At the same time you saw a woman also smoking, right? So what happened? The belief which you had in your mind that smoking kills, that got much stronger. This event is over. Random thinking connected to the past event you had, emotion fueled up, and it's fixed, right? Now you're driving back to home. You again on the traffic. This time you're not reacting because there was no red light signal, right? You reach home, right? You're watching a television show. Either you're watching like Netflix or you're watching something comedy, right? You're watching some daily soap or a movie. That movie, program, or thing which you're watching, right, is programming you as well. How? Okay. You see an emotional event on the television, right? It's connecting to your past memory. You fuel your memory. Then suddenly you saw an advertisement, right, on the television, right? We say that in order to look young, you need to apply this particular cream. Okay. Then you start thinking, right? Where should I buy this cream? What's the cost of that? Can I get that in sale? You asking for the evidence, references. You see the review, right? And then you order the cream, and next day you got the cream. Now, after applying the cream, right, you did not get any results. So what you're doing? You're just reacting. How it starts? You watch something on the television, right? You believe that you need something, right? External thing. You watch. When you watch, lot of thoughts pop up in your mind. Based on that thought, you have taken action, you bought, and when you got a physical product you didn't like, you start reacting. So it's all start with a what? Media. It's in your hand, right? Not to think on the thought. It's just a advertisement on the TV. It's not going to harm to you until you start thinking and taking action. You have an option to not think on the thought. Here we start again from the beginning, okay? You wake up in the morning. When you have any negative thought, just pause there and stop. And tell yourself, will this brings me joy, happiness, compassion? Reject the thought. You get inside your washroom, again another thought pops up about your job. It's just a thought. It's not going to it's not going to harm you at all until you're thinking on that. Reject. Same at the traffic. You're sitting at traffic. You don't need to react. Why? Because if you react, you move into negative vibration. And then you start getting events and things that makes you more react. Universe or God or higher intelligence, right, give you whatever you ask for. They don't work on question and answer. Hey, I don't like this thing, don't send me. Hey, I don't like the traffic. If you say traffic, they will give you more traffic. You have to enjoy. You have to conscious of your thoughts, because every thought manifests. We understand, for example, already how as your day passes, how you're going and doing things. It's just an example, right? I hope you will relate to that. Every thought manifest means that when you think a thought, right? When you think a thought, any random thought, right? All thoughts are negative, which is there in your mind. Analyze your life. You never get any thought which brings you joy. Thoughts are automatic, they never bring you joy. Until and unless you generate thoughts on demand, conscious thought. You cannot, there's no such thing that control which thought to pop up in your mind, which not. It's all negative based on your programming, subconscious belief, experience, memory. You don't need a thought to feel a positive emotion. You feel positive emotion automatically. But initially, as we have been programmed that we need external thing to be happy, fulfill, joy, love, compassion, grateful. You are an extension of source. This is your actual quality. This body we live in, we give this body to experience physical things, but in actual, this is not we are. We are pure love. We are joy, fulfill. Once you stop observing your mind, I must say thought, you start seeing that you start feeling happy automatically. You don't need an expensive stuff to be fulfilled. You don't require to drive an expensive car. If you want to, that's okay. But you don't need that. You don't need to depend on external object to be happy, fulfill. how you're connected to everything and everything is connected to you, right? First of all, what happened? This is a thought. I am happy. These are the two thoughts, positive thought and negative thought. When you think a thought, right, what happened? Due to infinite potential in the quantum field, right? When you think a thought, your brain, like, create an image where in invisible field, quantum field, right? When you create an image, you are collapsing waves into particle, right? So you, this is you, have this thought and you thinking on that thought. As soon as you thinking, you create an image and you collapsing waves into particle. Happy thought have happy feeling, right? So when you see yourself in this happy situation in your mind's eyes, you start feeling that particular event when you see that, and this is you call experience in your life, because that's your energy which is here in the quantum field, right? Everything comes from the quantum field, and as your body energy and this energy matches, you get an experience into your life. If you don't do this thing repeatedly, right, the particles is back into energy. This is called double slit experience, right? When you observe, right, when you observe electrons, right, it collapse, right, and you stop observing, it turn back into energy. Same thing with negative words. You have a thought, this is you have a thought, you're thinking without knowing, unconsciously. When you think a thought, you are collapsing. There's an infinite intelligence quantum field. You are collapsing waves into particles, means based on this, right, you getting image I don't like in the quantum field, and based on that image, this is a negative sentence, so you start feeling worried in your mind eyes, you are feeling negative emotion, right? As this thing which you have created, it's connected to you energetically. As you starting negative emotion, you attracting that into your life as an experience. This is how we already connected. If you don't think on the thought, that particles turn back into energy when you're not observing them. This is called observer effect. So everything is connected. It's just a one thought, right? On demand, you need to create whatever you want. On demand, you need to create an intentions in your mind eyes with emotion. When you see yourself doing good thing, when you're feeling the positive emotion, love, joy, compassion, grateful, you're collapsing waves into particles, and as your body energy, right, and this thing which you have created matches, you get an experience into your life. But you have to do that consistently. It's not that you just do once and it's happened. The same way we did in the other video when we are manifesting job, remember the letter J, job, which we have done, right? And all the sub intentions you have wrote it down, that you need to earn $10,000, you want to work remotely, be your own boss, benefits, travel, all these things you see in your mind eyes. So when you're closing your eyes, right, and you are in the present moment, when you're closing your eyes and see yourself doing all these things, it's already done in the quantum field, right? When you feel the emotion, when you fuel up that, right, you're connected to that particular event in the future. You can't see with your physical eyes, with your five senses, but it's there, right? This is how every thing comes into your life. As your body energy which you're vibrating, right? And this energy in the quantum field matches, right? You get an experience. So I hope you understand that. This is just an example, right? For one positive, one negative. Imagine how many thoughts you are thinking autopilot, and it's in your hand which thought to think, right? So generate the positive thought in the morning when you start your day. Write down how you want to behave, what kind of emotion you want to feel, right? And close your eyes and just create a beautiful pictures in your mind and emotion which you want to experience in your life, right? With the practice, if you're consistent with this, right, if you see your life after a year, you will see dramatic change. Yeah, you will not believe that you have done that. You don't need any external thing to do that. Everything is inside you. All you need is a consistency, practice, and awareness. I hope you like this video. Please take care. Have a nice day. If you're new to this channel, please click on the like and subscribe. And if you have any concern or if you want to have any question, you can make a comment. So have a nice day. Bye. Take care.